Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Barlow Zone, home of the one and only demon hunter King Kaido, himself sent to Azeroth. How's everybody doing today? I hope your guys' day is looking a little bit better than mine. It's a little overcast today. Got a nice chilly breeze going on. I definitely made a mistake wearing shorts to go get coffee creamer this morning. Anyway, I got a I got an interesting one. I'm really excited to present this idea, right? Even though, as I posted on my Tumblr earlier this morning, I am aware not a lot of people are gonna click on this video. It's an idea that I've kind of presented before, uh, but as I pointed out in my Tumblr post this morning, after reading 1163, man, it was like a downpour of rain had stopped. I was no longer trudging through stuff to try and figure out how to put this idea together. But in an instant, a snap, the rain was gone and the theory became crystal clear. So I do want to start this one off by saying, thank you to anybody who, whether or not you agree with the idea, are taking the chance, delving into something you might not agree with, for the sake of potentially learning something. And to anybody who's here because you may have heard this theory from me before, bits and pieces, or because you're kind of thinking the same thing yourself, more power to you. Let's get the word out because this one is big. Now, the idea of pure evil, right? The idea of the embodiment of evil, of bad, negativity, negative emotions, destruction, chaos. It's something that's pretty difficult to conceptualize because as humans, even among some of the darker of us, there's still a glimmer of hope. We always innately hold out hope that things will get better for us. For better or for worse, sometimes they do end up getting better. Oftentimes it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. Sometimes it gets better because people get lucky. Sometimes people don't get lucky. Sometimes hard work and dedication isn't quite enough. There are all kinds of reasons, but no matter what, human beings hold out at least a glimmer of hope that times will get better. And because of that, it's difficult to conceptualize pure evil because no matter what you try to put together, there's gonna be that little bit of you that's attached to it that's like, okay, you know what, but if this goes right, things might work out. Now, on the idea of pure evil, I want to bring up character, I guess, because I don't know, mythology and folklore, I don't want to take anything away from it because especially as a Native American, a lot of our spiritual beliefs are still tied to the legends and the lore that our ancestors passed down through word of mouth, right? So I feel like calling it mythology or folklore is kind of disrespectful, but for the sake of understanding, it is what it is. Spirituality is just one of those things you either buy into it or you don't. It's not something that you can be convinced of. It's not some, I don't know, I don't want to get into a discussion about spirituality or religion. Is not really something I like talking about. As I mentioned, I am spiritual in the sense of I hold dear a lot of the beliefs of my tribe and my ancestors, my family who have passed stories down. I don't remember where that idea was going, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, I want to bring up Amatsu Mikaboshi again. Oh yeah, because I was talking about folklore and Japanese mythology. Amatsu Mikaboshi, also known as Ame no Kagaseo. I am definitely going to put that spelling up there. I apologize if I butchered it. I am going to be spending a bit of the beginning of this video referring to the lore of Amatsu Mikaboshi, right? I feel like establishing who this was is really going to make understanding the One Piece aspect of it that I'm going to talk about a little bit easier, right? So, who was this Amatsu Mikaboshi? Now, the Kojiki, which is the widely regarded oldest text of the history of Japan. And it is regarded as having actual historical information. The Nihon Shoki is another text often seen as the second oldest historical document. From what I understand, it does not contradict the Kojiki, and more that it elaborates. The Nihon Shoki is a lot longer, a lot more detailed than the Kojiki. So when I say something like there are no references to Amatsu Mikaboshi in the Kojiki, but there are two in the Nihon Shoki, that kind of makes sense. Like the Kojiki wasn't really dealing with the more obscure kami, like it was more closely directly tied to the creation of the planet and the Japanese archipelago and the pantheon, the Amatsu kami that brought all of that into fruition. The Nihon Shoki, as I said, goes into a little bit more detail about some of these stories, right? And as I said, there are two references to Mikaboshi in the Nihon Shoki. The first one, now I say first one, this is the first one in the order that I came across, and they were presented on the same page across multiple sites. This one was consistently presented first, so I took that to mean it was the first passage in the Nihon Shoki that referred to Mikaboshi. But what this passage refers to, now I'm not going to butcher an entire passage trying to read a Japanese text block. So what I'm going to do is for both of these, I'm just going to break down what the overall was. I'm going to leave out a lot of the explanations about the names and stuff, but I am still going to give the names. Anyway, getting into the first reference, I apologize, y'all, over-explaining. In the first reference the Nihon Shoki makes, Mikaboshi was the last kami to refuse submission to the Amatsu kami, to which Take Hazuchi, also going to be up here, was sent to finally subdue Mikaboshi. In the second reference that the Nihon Shoki makes to Mikaboshi, it was Futsunushi and Take Mikazuchi, definitely, again, names, were sent to kill Mikaboshi before the kami descended to earth to, quote, make clear the central land of Reed Plains. I just really like that description of Japan. How the ancient texts referred to the archipelago are really beautiful and poetic to me. So that's the only reason I really did the quote there for what it was referred to. What I do want to point out is my research, even though this second reference indicates that Futsunushi and Take Mikazuchi were sent to kill Mikaboshi, my research seems to indicate that Mikaboshi was never killed. He was defeated and subdued eventually forced to bend the knee. Now, I did run across a reference that mentioned that he was disintegrated when the world was created and became part of the human soul. I did not get any indication with that reference that it comes from the Nihon Shoki. So I just wanted to put that out there. There is the one reference to Mikaboshi having been actually killed. But in the Nihon Shoki, it does seem to indicate that Mikaboshi was never killed. He was just defeated. Now, that is more or less all I could really find on the character of Amatsu Mikaboshi, outside of the name Amatsu Mikaboshi means August Star of Heavens, curiously enough. And then that second name, there was a third name, but it also referred to the Kagaseo in the Ame no Kagaseo. So how does this relate to One Piece? And more specifically to the point of my theory, how does this relate to Emu? Because I mean that name, Amatsu Mikaboshi, the August Star of Heaven, could also be translated as the Dread Star of Heaven. He was a god of stars. What's the Goro say again? The whole planet scheme with the star bit. Curious. Now this is tinfoil hat territory. This is, Barlow, come up out the basement, go touch grass type stuff, right? But there do seem to be some more indications that Emu may be an analog for this Amatsu Mikaboshi character from the Japanese mythology, right? So I'm going to go ahead. We'll go to the 20 kingdoms. Sorry, trying to get through my notes, so I don't want to do anything out of order. The 20 kingdoms that made up the formation of the world government at the end of the Void Century, right? Now, in my research, I came across as I believe I have mentioned already, the Amatsukami, right? They were, in the Nihon Shoki, Mikaboshi is really characterized as an antagonist to the Amatsukami. And now, what are the Amatsukami? Basically, the Amatsukami were the 12 generations of deities that led to Izanami and Izanagi, who were the parents of Amaterasu, Susanoo, and Tsukuyomi, among others. But Izanami and Izanagi were the parents of the Holy Trinity. I don't know. I don't really want to butcher too much. Alice just came in to check me. She said, "Hey, Barlow, make sure you're not destroying another culture's importance." What's up, babies? We can come to say hello to the peoples of YouTube. Come on. Got her in her cute little sweater vest again. But Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo are the big three when it comes to Japanese religion, as far as historically speaking, with the creation myths. And the Amatsukami were the 12 generations that included, at the end, Izanami and Izanagi. Now, in these 12 generations, the first 5 were what were called, I believe, soul deities. They were neither male or female. They just were. And the first 2 generations of the line that leads to Izanami and Izanagi were also the soul deities. But then the last 5 were brother and sister duos, including Izanami and Izanagi. Now, no, don't worry. I've been talking a lot about the Japanese mythos, Izanami, Izanagi. They're a big part of my magnum opus, which I am still in the process of rescripting. There was no contact. All 3 of the children were born solely from the father washing himself after the mother was dead. And he made a trip to the underworld, very Herculean, trying to save his wife, but was unable to. When he returned, he was sad, took a bath, washed the sadness away, and in doing so, as he washed eyes and nose, created Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo. Just for the short version of that. Now, there were 17 of these Amatsukami. Notably, Barlow, this is less than 20. I see that. Give me just a second, because Mikaboshi was not one of these 17 Amatsukami. And on top of that, I would just like to kind of point out as a reminder, the Figureland families and the Manmayer families seem to be treated differently among these celestial dragons and holy knights. Like, they're outsiders who don't really belong but are accepted type thing. Now, if we add Emu, the Figurelands, and the Manmayers to these 17 Amatsukami, all of a sudden we have 20. So yes, I am saying that the other 17 families from the original 20 could potentially end up being a big part of the creation of the planet. Planet Blue, the planet One Piece takes place on, right? Yes, that is what I'm saying. So, to move on, because it's not just the presence of Imu, the Gorosei, the Holy Knights, and the Celestial Dragons that make me believe that Imu is this avatar, embodiment, stand-in for Amatsu Mikaboshi in the story of One Piece, right? Like, Imu is the embodiment of evil and chaos. You know what? I gotta stop saying evil. Mikaboshi was not the god of evil. He was the god of chaos. Chaos can have benefits. It can be beneficial to man. For the most 99.999999999% of the time, chaos is going to be bad, though, right? So the idea of chaos, you know, it kind of, I do need to stop saying evil. Although, I think Imu is the embodiment of chaos in the most evil way possible. But, what else is part of this theory? Like, you know what? I don't even think I can make it really that interesting as like a cliffhanger leading up to it. Luffy and Teach. These two beings, right? Like, yeah, okay. They've always kind of stood as mirrors of each other, right? Like, Luffy and Teach at Jaya, right? That really established these two beings as a coupling. They enjoyed the food, they enjoyed drink, they enjoyed revelry, but they enjoyed different aspects of it. Now, since I'm talking about Luffy, I do want to point out as a reminder again, Luffy isn't a traditional good guy. Luffy has never saved somebody or saved a kingdom or beat up a bad guy simply for the sake of doing it because they were bad. Luffy only helps people who accept they need help and are willing to fight for themselves. Like, he's just like, no, I'm gonna be your support type thing, more or less. Even though, you know, he is full carry as support, you know, I like to try and channel my best Luffy when I'm playing Dota 2. I always play the support positions, but I end up trying to carry near the end of my games. Probably why I stay low MMR, right? Anyway, we got Luffy who carries the will of Nika. And we got Teach who carries the will of Davy, referring to Davy Jones. I'm going to say we quote unquote know, that Joy Boy faced Imu in the past. I mean, if you believe something else, I would really like to hear that. How did you comprehend the events with the flashback? I believe it was during Egghead when we actually learned about Joy Boy a little bit during the Void Century. Did you not read him as fighting against Imu? You know, it's just that. That's why I did the quotes thing. I say we know, but in quotes, because I understand it's possible people perceive the events differently. But we know that Joy Boy faced Imu in the past, and we're watching Zebek, who is the carrier of the will of Davy, face Imu now, referring to the God Valley flashback. Not once in the story have we had any kind of reference or insinuation to Nika and Davy Jones facing Imu together. Now, why is that important? Why is that, like, why'd you even consider that, Barlow, right? Like, it kind of seems out of place. At least, it could be seen as out of place to some, right? But that's part of the reason why I wanted to establish who Amatsu Mikaboshi was before delving into the One Piece side of it. Because I would like to contemplate for a second the relationship between subdue and defeat. Because if we think back to the references from the Nihon Shoki about Mikaboshi, right? In the first reference to Mikaboshi, it was said that Takehazuchi, a singular entity, was sent to finally subdue Mikaboshi. Now, subdue doesn't necessarily mean defeat or killed or pushed back. It just means, you know, it could be as simple as Mikaboshi realized, okay, I need to take a tick, come up with a better strategy. The problem is still there. It's just not in your face currently. But in the reference in the Nihon Shoki to Mikaboshi being killed, or what I'm going to say is defeated, because as I said, there was no indication he was actually killed. But in the reference, when Mikaboshi was defeated, it was at the hands of Futsunushi and Takamikazuchi. Two people. Imu has faced god-level characters one-on-one before. Sure, you know, it could be argued Joy Boy had an effect, maybe even subdued Imu a little bit, right? And like, why else would Imu be on the empty throne? If they won, then there's no need to hide your existence. So it could be argued that Joy Boy did the subdue, in the fact that he managed to prevent Imu from becoming the known god of the planet. And I mean, honestly, we could be headed the same thing with Xebec. And the fact that there are now a lot of people on God Valley who should be aware of the existence of these demon form Gorosei and Imu, but for some reason nobody is aware of it. So it's possible even Xebec had a subdue factor on Imu at God Valley, right? But even in the Nihon Shoki, the defeat of Mikaboshi came at the hands of two kami. And, you know, there's been the arguments, are Joy Boy and Nika the same person? Like, yeah, honestly, I genuinely believe they are. But never have I entertained the thought that Davy Jones was the same person. At best, at closest, I've entertained the thought that Davy Jones was the one that killed Joy Boy and was the first wielder of the power of Nika. But honestly, with this theory, I'm kind of off board that too. I really feel like Davy Jones was the figure primarily at work during that second era that we got in reference to the Harley text. Wow, I forgot the name of him for a second there. But anyway, the point of all this, it's not to argue, oh, hey, Imu's the big bad. You know, we gotta defeat Imu. Duh. I know this. I know the community knows this. That's not what I'm here to argue. What I'm here to argue is 1163 is the trumpet announcing that Teach is not a bad guy. Teach is a necessary step in claiming victory over Imu. And that's the part, like, that is going to be part of my title. That's the part I know. I interact with the community. I talk to people. I'm on YouTube comments. I do the Discord thing. Not on mine yet. I still, hoping, someday I might see some of y'all coming into the Discord. Be like, hey, Barlow, I like that last video, but bro, you was wrong. I'd love to see it, or, see y'all hit me up on the Tumblr or the X. But, like, I interact with the community. I understand that I am in the minority and thinking that Teach is not somebody that needs to be dealt with. That being said, as I do constantly say, I see Teach as more of a Sasuke figure than a Madara. There could be some rivalry. Like, there's the chance that Davy Jones existed towards the end of the Void Century and him and Joy Boy had a rivalry. It's a chance. I say that. So because there's the chance that there was the rivalry, there's the path to us getting to see Teach and Luffy fight. We got to settle it. Who was stronger, Naruto or Sasuke, right? Like, And just be prepared if we get that similar type of outcome. Because don't forget, oh, I'm gonna feel so bad. I I watched Naruto. I enjoyed some of it. I'm familiar with it. You know, I never read it. I was never a super fan. I don't know the name of the mangaka. I apologize. Please forgive me. For what is worth, as I said, I was never a super fan. I just enjoyed an episode if it came on. But the mangaka of Naruto and Oda were both junior mangaka for Rurouni Kenshin. They have worked together before. They have no doubt talked. So the idea of teaching Luffy being in a Sasuke and Naruto role isn't so far-fetched. Anyway, as always though, friends, I would love to know what you guys think about this one. Do you have more information about Amatsu Mikaboshi for me that could be relevant to the theory, help disprove it, or help me make it more clear for people? How do you feel about Teach? You know, did anything in this help you start to question yourself? Like, okay, you know what? Is Teach not such a bad guy? Because, you know, if you're starting to think that, go check out my video, How Bad Could It Be? Where I go into a little more detail trying to present the argument that Teach isn't such a bad guy. But, I'd love to hear what you guys think. As always, feel free to drop a comment. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Let me know you're enjoying the content so I know to keep bringing it this hard. And as always, you know, if a YouTube comment isn't enough for you, feel free to hit me up on the Discord community, the Barlow Zone, or on either of my socials, X and Tumblr at Barlow Be Theorizing. All of those will be linked in the description below. I hope y'all have an amazing day, friends. Much love.